Welcome to the Newark podcast. My name is Tehsuan Glover, representing the New York Times, and we have a very special guest with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for Mr. Doitall, Dupré Kelly.
What up,
What's happening, my brother?
What's going on with
good,
you,
family. How are you?
Man, hustling like a 70s, man.
I like it, man. Good to see you, though.
Same here, man. Always good to see you, too, man.
Always. I wanted to get you in the studio and talk really for a little bit because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Generally, these days there's so much going on in Newark. But we know that like right now in this pocket, it's exponentially more.
Right.
There's so much happening. Some of it's good, some of it's great, some of it's not good. But it's important that we talk about it.
Right.
Especially in light of the fact that so many people outside of Newark feel empowered to talk about Newark.
Yeah.
So we need to be the ones talking about Newark, and not just pointing at Newark from elsewhere.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? First thing I want to talk about is the new album.
Man, how you know about that?
The new album.
Yeah, man. You know what? When I ran the campaign for councilman at large last year in our city, a lot of my fans, they supported me and they liked what I was doing in the community, but they were like, we want to hear the music.
Right.
We want you to get back. All the community stuff is cool.
Right.
We want you to get back to the craft. And I wanted a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a reason to be able to, I love making music, even if I don't make it on the mainstream as much anymore. As long as I can make it to give to the fans that support us and be able to stay on tour, I'm good. So I just felt like after the campaign, it took a lot of energy out of me. And making music is always like my safe place.
Right.
It's always my place to go, just being a creator, creating content. And I know you know about creating content.
Absolutely.
And so when I started to make the album, I started making it from the place that I am in my life now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just sounding so ill to me, hip-hop wise and lyrically.
Yeah.
And I just said, you know what? One thing I never done as an artist was I never been super personal with my fans.
Okay.
So I decided to make that album, and just to fast forward, that album it's called Brenda's Son.
Mm-hmm.
Through all my ups and downs, I've always remained my mother's son.
Right.
So I said I'm gonna call it Brenda's Son.
Right.
And I got to play a test of it for her this past weekend and my family. And just to see my family's faces revealing stuff that they've never even known about me, and to see the smile on my mother's face, I don't care if it doesn't sell one copy. That just did enough for me right there.
Mission accomplished.
Right, mission accomplished.
So Brenda's Son comes out when?
I'm not sure, man. I'm really looking for maybe on my birthday.
January?
January 14th,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 2020. Just to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I might release a video, a visual, and maybe a record beforehand. But yeah, I'm taking. It's no rush.
Yeah.
It's
This
no
is
rush.
something different.
Something different.
Right.
This is an art piece for me.
Right.
I'm not looking to make tons of money. I mean, we always want tons of money. Don't get me wrong out there. We always want money, but this is not for money. I'm not doing it for money. It's just because I still love the craft.
Yeah.
And it's just it's an art piece for me.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah,
I can't wait to bump that.
Appreciate it, man. We might have to do something big with New York Times on some release time.
I think that's appropriate.
Word out.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's appropriate. I think we should
really,
blanket the city.
We're gonna really talk about it off the air.
I'm with it.
For real.
I'm with it. Speaking of fans, speaking of the music, you about to touch down at home at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center.
Ooh, NJPAC, man. Newark,
Sounds of the
New
city.
Jersey. Sounds of the city.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are going to be standing out.
Oh man, it's gonna be crazy that night because Big Auntie, she's performing indoor after we perform, and Big Auntie, Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight is touching it.
She touching down, but it's exciting, man. I grew up in this city, Newark, New Jersey, all my life, man, and I've rapped in 13th Avenue hallways. I've rapped in Newark Tech hallways.
Yeah.
I've been on the YMCA stages, the talent show stages.
Right.
And to be on a stage in my city, man, and on a stage like New Jersey PAC, NJPAC, I'm just honored, man, and to do it with my brothers, man, and in front of my city, it's just an honor, man. It's a success is relative, but it's an accomplishment for us, man.
Indeed. And just to be clear, this isn't the first time you performing at NJPAC.
No, but it's the first time.
But this is the first time
with my crew.
Yeah.
You know, this is, you know, people that come to NJPAC, to Sounds of the City, anytime they come to Newark, New Jersey, they call me like, yo, we're in your city.
Right.
We want you to come
Right.
on and be a guest.
Right.
So now, I've always wondered about NJPAC. Like,
right.
you know, all my friends come here to perform
Why
in
they
my
ain't calling?
city.
Right.
Why are they not calling us? You see everybody else calling.
Right.
And they finally called this year, man, and said, we want you to close out, you know, Sounds of the City.
Yeah.
We were excited, and we're going to have fun that day, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
August 29th, man, be there. It starts at 5 p.m., but we'll probably go on about 6:30.
Yeah.
You know, come out, Sounds of the City. After work, it's going to be amazing,
Yeah.
man.
You got is there anything moving for, like, after party or whatever?
You know, it's this guy from Newark Times that we might just have to pop up and do it.
I think we need
need to really do it, though. I've been really contemplating to do it. I got a lot of people coming in from Philly and New York. And it's going to be a festive time in the city that night.
And you got some surprises lined up? You got some treats?
Some surprises, man.
Yeah.
I got some treats, you know, so we're going to see, you know, we're going to have a good time out there.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Shout out to Mr. Funky Man and DJ Lord.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny to me, like, the first time I saw you perform live was at NJPAC. So, like, I was, like, a little too young at, you know what I mean, in the 90s to be out at concerts and whatnot. My parents was a little more conservative at the time.
I get it.
But I got to see you at NJPAC, and I had no idea, how energetic, how live a Lord of the Underground performance is.
Yeah, that's where we come from. That's the era we come from, man, and just partying, just having a good time.
Right.
You know, and that's basically it, man. Heavy bass lines, lyrical, and you know, if the artist's on stage, and they're not sweating by the time they get off, then they didn't give you all. They didn't leave it up there.
Right.
You know?
And that's the ill thing. It's like, you know, I've seen different artists, different musicians and whatnot that'll do a live performance, and they'll play with the music, play with the songs, do some different things, which is cool in some cases. In some cases, it don't quite hit.
Right.
But what y'all always do is just elevate the song, like elevate the experience of the song.
Most
you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are really tapped into the energy of the music, so you know how to magnify it in certain pockets, how to go up a notch. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I think, you know, we're not just rappers, though. We're MCs. Right. You know what I mean? And MCs, if you just take it back to its basic meaning, it's just move the crowd. You know, crowd motivator. You know, master of ceremony. Right. You know, they have to understand the energy of their crowd, and they have to relate to that. Yeah. You know?
So that then takes us to just in general. You know, we got to talk about, like, Newark lifestyle, the nightlife scene. Like, there's long been the disappointment when it comes to Newark nightlife.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just not happening enough. And in some people's opinion, it's not happening at all. And, you know, they're not wrong. You know what I mean? There's been pockets where we were kind of clicking here and there. You know what I mean? I remember you were doing the joints at 211, and, like, there was different things happening. When Taste was clicking, that was the thing. Right. You know what I mean? But when the Key Club was clicking, that was a thing. But overall, Newark nightlife hasn't been what it has the capacity to be. You know what I mean? And what the people want. And that's the other thing. Like, I talk to people all the time about how, whether it's restaurateurs, people that come in, you know, to build up a nightlife, build up a venue, or developer or whoever, you know, in the city of Newark, where you have almost 300,000 residents, and you have 50,000 college residents, right? A large segment of your populace is going to be people who are interested in nightlife. Like, these are not all elderly and babies. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely not.
And they're not at home Friday night, Saturday night. They're out. They're just not out in Newark. Yeah. So the narrative that has been spun is that, like, you know, Newark doesn't have a nightlife because people don't hang out. And the clarity is they don't hang out in Newark because there aren't enough options. And they don't want to... I was at a spot a couple weeks ago, man. We went to one spot. They closed at like 9 o'clock. We took it to the next spot. They closed at 10:30. It's like at the end of at 10:30, we've closed down 2 spots already. That don't make sense. Right. That's not nightlife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We need some fresh blood, man. We need some fresh blood out there just to stimulate.
Yeah.
You know, all these stimulus packages going. We need a stimulus package in our nightlife and our social life, for real. And you're right. When you go to that place, I think that the owners of venues too, and when I say venues, I'm talking about it doesn't have to be a nightlife venue for it to be a nightlife venue.
Absolutely.
If you have a pizza shop,
absolutely,
you throw a DJ in there at 6 o'clock, I guarantee you're going to sell more pies than you sold probably from 9 to 5.
Indeed.
If you have a lawyer's office and you open it up on a Wednesday and do a business mix and mingle in there, I guarantee you're going to have more clients that deal with you in this city of Newark. And I think that's what has to happen. The elders, the olders, the older people, the adults, we have to start changing our mindset because time and technology is changing lifestyles.
Absolutely.
Super fast.
Like, absolutely.
Super fast.
Yeah.
You know, so we can't think in the same mindset. Oh, this is a lawyer's office. I just need to open this from 8 to 4, and then nah, man, you can brand your brand.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, and throw a DJ in there, put some art in there, put some, higher Newark Times. Whoever it is. And that will attract people not only to the nightlife, not only to them to spend more money in your business, but it creates an economic spur. Right. It starts igniting things around the city. People want to look good when they go to these places. Yep. You look good, you feel good, you do good. So now they're spending more money at buying clothes or sneakers or hats and salons and nails.
Barbershops,
and then those things, it sparks. Once you ignite one facet of the nightlife, it sparks the whole culture.
I think there's 2 perfect examples in recent history that have shown this, even though it hasn't been happening, en masse or at scale. But like a couple years ago, there was a spot called Freetown on Halsey Street. It was on the corner of Halsey and Brea Nightway. And there was a cafe during the day. They had a food truck outside. So inside you get your drinks. Outside you go get your sandwiches and whatnot. But on Friday nights, they would let the brothers who do Afro Taco come in. Right. And they would run the food truck. And every Friday night, everybody was out on that block, eating jollof rice, listening to music, socializing, congregating. And it was consistent. It wasn't the typical nightlife spot. It was a food truck on the corner in front of a cafe. Like, that's not Friday night. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. But the people came out for it. It was a good product, and people came out for it. Another perfect example of that, and this is still going on, is at the Newark Public Library.
Right, man. They get it in, too.
They get it in. Yeah. So every Friday night, free dance party. They spin in R&B, house music. I think they throw a salsa in there, some merengue earlier.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But what's the brother? It's D-Wild Music Radio.
Yeah, it's DJ Deuce Martinez, Adam Cruz.
And they
mixtape sessions. And
they get it in.
Yeah, 15.
And the people come out. Yeah. Like, people come out regularly to a library on a Friday night. They got the food truck out there. People are out there. They bring their lawn chairs and just kick it for the night.
Right.
And that don't end till 11 o'clock. People are at the library until 11 o'clock on a Friday night.
Right.
That means something.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it goes right back to those people don't just come out. They don't just stumble out the house and go to the library. They get fresh. Yeah. They get their hair done. They get the cuts. They get the clothes out. They come out looking right.
Before and after.
Yeah.
So your food, it just sparks, man, the development. It just spreads our economics around, and that's the problem with a lot of our businesses. That's why these businesses don't last more than 5 years. A lot of times, man, the small businesses usually really fuel the economy. Right. The local economy. Right. And it also keeps your social, things happening in the social area. It keeps us socializing with each other. The more we socialize, the more money we spend, the more we think together, the more we create together.
Indeed.
All of that type of stuff.
Indeed. Man. So we got to look forward at this coming weekend. We got so much happening in Newark this coming weekend. Ooh. And then next week we're going to close out the month at NJPAC.
Right.
But this weekend we got Newark Under the Stars is happening Saturday. We got this Icon Experience, this beauty and fashion convention or conference. It's happening at Robert Treat.
Right.
Sunday we doing the Sunday brunch at Kata's.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday is also Black Girls Rock.
Oh man! Shout out to all the black girls.
Shout out to black women, right? Then Monday is the VMAs.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody getting the VMAs as well too.
You know what I'm saying? Like all of this is converging on Newark, New Jersey. Whether it's things that are homegrown and produced here by people from here, or people that have been attracted to Newark and see the value and touching down and putting their stake in the ground here in the city. But there's so much to be happening in one weekend. And it's like at this point, it's either, if you're bored this weekend, that's on you.
Yeah, that's on you, man.
You know what I mean? Maybe, yeah, for whatever reason, it's on you. Like, there's far too much to do. And you don't even have to be in the room. You can just be out in the city.
There's some great things going on, man.
Fantastic things.
Great things, man. Like you said, the brunch, the dinner, you know, the watch party too.
Yeah.
On Monday.
On Monday, a watch party. Then the after party, we're gonna be at Jimenez Monday night.
Yeah, man.
Jimenez is such a special place, man.
Shout out to the owner.
Yeah, shout out to Peter for sure. Shout out to the whole family. Shout out to mom. Shout out to the whole family.
Too.
Word.
Yeah, definitely.
Word.
She makes some great cigars, hand rolled
cigars. Indeed, hand rolled. The only master roller in the country that's a woman.
That's a woman.
That's
definitely.
it.
And she's in Newark.
Yeah. And that goes to show, like, just how important it is to be tapped in. Like, whether you consider yourself a community stakeholder or a community member or just a resident, whatever it is, like, it's important to be tapped in.
Yeah, man. You have to be tapped in. And that's the problem. A lot of us, you know, the residents of the city, they were down with the city when, you know, it's downfall, it's ups and downs, uprisings, and all of that type of stuff. The same way that we're part of that, you want to be included when we have this renaissance.
Absolutely.
You want to be
for sure
included in this new thing happening. You want to be included in a 3.0 and all of that type of stuff and
whatever
moving forward.
Yeah, all of it.
I know I do.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember.
Yep.
So now I want to be here when we benefit.
Yeah.
But nobody's just going to give it to you.
Right.
You know, they're going to build things and they're going to want you to come, want you to be a part. But you can't expect just because you were a part of it when it was down and somebody to hand you something.
Right.
No, you got to go get it. You got to demand to be included. You got to demand to be a part of it. And that's by you being active, by you going to places, getting involved in things, letting your voice be heard. You know, and until we do that, the city won't grow.
Right.
As it should grow.
Right.
You know, it's almost like putting certain fish in certain fish tanks. They only grow as size as the fish tank.
Right.
You know, but Newark is we don't want to be this big fish in a small pond.
Right.
We want to be a big fish in a big pond.
Right.
You know,
Right.
But we have to claim and show that we are that, man. Just by coming out, doing, creating, going to, supporting, and just being united as a whole.
Yeah. And then, like, making sure that we're aware of our value.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Most
definitely. We can't just expect that somebody else is going to identify and acknowledge our value and then want to do business with us based on that. Like, we have to know our own value and we have to do our own business.
For example, man, and this is no disrespect to 50 Cent, and I don't owe you no money, 50. But no, shout out to 50 because I love everything he's doing.
Yeah.
But he had a tycoon party.
Yeah.
Now this is not in Newark.
Right.
In Elizabeth this past weekend.
Right.
But my point is when anytime people come to New Jersey or come to Newark or things like that, we have to hold ourselves accountable because I know so many people that went to this man's party and spent a lot of money with him. But when we do parties, and I'm not saying myself per se, but we as a city or promoters
for sure.
in the city, we have to support them the same way.
For sure.
So we just gave Fifth and them probably tens and twenties of thousands of dollars
Easy.
For this weekend.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that to our same?
Right.
You know, when you throw parties or
Right.
not even you, whatever other promoter. Yeah. Why don't we support them the same way?
Yo, I don't want to get too deep into this rabbit hole because it's just one of those conversations where we need so much time to flesh it out and give it clarity.
Yeah, no doubt.
But there's a I agree with you completely, and I think one of the things that goes to show that is, a few months ago there was the Forbes magazine had an event at the museum about opportunity zones.
Right. Yeah.
And they had like T.I. was there, Charlamagne the God was there, David Gross was there.
Yeah.
The cat that founded Napster and then got into Facebook and all that, he was there. I forget, Sean something or whatever. But when people saw the flyer and they saw T.I. and Charlamagne on a flyer, it was this immediate like uproar of like, how come the Newark community wasn't invited to be there, and how come we don't know about this, and where can I get tickets, and da. And it's like at the same time when your people do something, where is the immediacy of being in the building, being there? Is it that you want other people to value the Newark community? Well, when the Newark community does something, you got to value that.
I agree.
Where's the value then?
And don't get me wrong, I do understand that celebrities attract attention.
Of course.
They bring attention. I understand that. And this is not, I understand why certain people go support certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you said, we have people who are worth or just as valuable mentally with the information as a T.I.
For sure.
Right here in this city.
For sure.
We have so many powerful people in this city and around this city that people don't even realize what they have.
Right.
When you see things over and over, it becomes a normal thing to them.
Right.
And it's only normal because you see it every day.
Yeah.
But when that thing goes and travels other places, people understand the worth, they understand the value. I'm telling Newark residents, start realizing and respecting the value and the worth of the people right here in your own community.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, you have to get out and see what they have to offer.
Right.
If you never see what they have to offer, then you don't have the right to speak on them.
Right. I remember Hakeem Green busted down for me one day, and I forget whatever the thing was happening, but he made the point to me of what celebrity is. You know what I mean? Celebrity is just someone who is celebrated.
Right.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
We decided to celebrate this person for whatever their offering is. They're a musician, they're an athlete, they're whatever they are.
Right.
We decided to celebrate them. Now, we celebrate a lot of people. There ain't just one celebrity.
Not at all.
There's plenty of celebrity. It's a whole industry around celebrity.
Some more than others.
Right? So the idea is like, you can choose who you celebrate. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And the people that we're currently celebrating aren't superhuman. They're not alien. They're not different. We just acknowledge and appreciate what they did and decided to celebrate that. At the same time, there's times that there are people that, because they're familiar, because, that's just Tehsuan from, I remember him when he was doing poetry. Like, it's just, we decide not to celebrate because we feel like we know so much that we know it's not as valuable.
Right.
It's like, that's not how it works. You know what I mean? It's not how it works. That's why, like, in certain towns, in certain countries, like, the homegrown are more celebrated.
Right.
Because, like, it's built into that culture. Like, nah, we're not going to clap for this one over here more than we clap for the man that...
Most definitely.
Absolutely not.
But why is that reversed sometimes when it comes to cities and urban cities in the United States of America?
I don't know.
People won't celebrate their homegrown
until they come back.
Back.
You gotta leave and then come back.
Yeah.
Why is that the case in certain places? It's not the case everywhere.
I guess it's built in our DNA now, just like in other countries. They celebrate their home. They raise them and they celebrate them forever.
Right.
Forever.
All right, so Dig, we talked about the show coming up. We talked about Newark nightlife. We talked about this weekend coming up and all these things. And all this is really kind of circling around conversations of quality of life. Like, if we live here, these are the things that we want to see happening. These are the types of experiences we want to have. We can't have that kind of conversation and then not talk about where Newark is right now in terms of the water.
Yeah, we definitely can't have. Right now you can't even have a conversation in Newark without talking
right.
about the water.
Without it coming up, right.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, there's a few things that I want to clarify as far as my position on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, you have your position and we'll have our conversation on it.
Right.
First thing I want to make it clear is that this is a national problem.
Yes, I agree.
Like, water systems that were established in that time period where lead was being used, everybody has this problem right now. Like the erosion, the over time, like all that, like it's a Flint problem. And Flint is different because of like choices that were made in the changes of their water system. But this is a Newark problem. But Newark doesn't have a water system that's 200 years older than East Orange. This was all Newark at first. Like the whole Essex County was Newark. You know what I'm saying? So the problems exist all across the country. You know what I mean? But as far as where we are right now in the conversation, like my position is we need to do as much as we possibly can to take this conversation away from the political arena. Like we need this to be about how do we fix the problem.
That's my angle.
Right? Because like we can't live without water.
Mm-hmm.
How do we fix the problem so that we can drink the water? You know what I mean? And anything outside of that is really just for like social media and soapboxing, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
I
what are we really talking about after that? Yeah. You know what I mean? But like you've been doing the work. You know what I mean? You've been passing out bottled water, cases and cases of bottled water. Mm-hmm. You've been telling people on your social media and in conversation. Like I know you talk about it plainly. Like, drink bottled water. Yeah. Just drink bottled water
until we find out what is going on.
Right.
How? I mean, and let me start off by saying this. I agree with you on that this is a national problem. Mm-hmm. This is not just Newark, New Jersey.
Right.
Like you said, any city, urban city or non-urban city that has service lead pipes. Mm-hmm. Service lead pipes are about this big.
Yeah.
Size of a 50-cent piece.
Yeah.
They go from your home
mm-hmm.
or the property that is erected to the pipe system that runs through the city that comes from the source. Right. One thing about Newark, New Jersey is our source is nothing wrong with our source of our water. Right. The problem is like Flint, Michigan, the source of their water. Right. They
decided to...
Yes, all the decisions they made. The source of their water is bad. Right. Thank God the source in the Pequannock system, we have two systems in Newark, New Jersey. The Wanacue, I believe how you say it, and the Ponacue or the Pequannock. Pequannock. Mm-hmm. Nothing's wrong with our source of our water. So those pipes that are 80 years old, 100 years old, they were built with lead. Right. The corrosion after all of those years, you can't blame any political figure for the corrosion of the pipes. Right. You know, I think that what the people and the residents are mad is they don't understand or not sure how the political figures assimilated and distributed information to make sure that our people were safe or stopped. I think that's where the political fight is coming in. From far as I know, from the people to the political offices. Mm-hmm. Now, from the political offices to the federal government, that's a whole nother situation. Right. So like you said, since all that makes everything gray and cloudy, let's remove the political thing and let's say, what do we have to do as residents, as people on the ground, as community leaders to make sure that our people, our residents of Newark, New Jersey, and their families are safe? Yeah. And whoever has the answer to that or is in search of that answer, let's unite, put the minds together to protect the people of this city. Right. Bottom line. Yeah. That's my angle. And until then, let's make sure that they keep getting water, enough supply of fresh spring water, bottled or whatever.
Whatever it needs to be,
to the people. Right. While we're in search of these answers.
Right.
While we're in search of solutions for these problems. And we know the main solution is that those pipes of 14,000 residents need to be changed. Yeah. And when you talk about that, you're talking a minimum of $14 million. Right. A minimum. Right. And that's what a deduction that the federal government is giving each household to build from $300. I mean, to install the new pipe from $300 to $1,000. So you're talking about a minimum of maybe $14 million, a high $78 million to change the entire system.
Right.
So a city like Newark, New Jersey, that will bankrupt the city.
Right.
You know, we have to figure out a way.
Right.
And we're asking for help. We're asking for donations, not just for bottled water.
Right.
We want help to change these pipes, to solve the problem.
Right. You know, something that we've talked about previously, and I think it was such a jewel, and I want to talk about it some more here, is that how important it is to like just speak to people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially if you're somebody who travels a lot, you're in different spaces with different people, or you're just in different rooms. Like it serves you no good to be in the room and not speak to anybody, not engage with anybody.
Right.
And you have no idea who all is in this room, what value you could bring to them, and what value they could bring to you. You know what I mean? But the only way to find that out is engage. Right. And talk to people, And you talk to me about how, like, earlier in your career, you would just sit up in the airplane on your way to wherever.
Nothing. Straight ice grill.
Right. And then you learned. And was it something like that? Was it somebody telling you something, or was it an experience, or what was it that caused you to change your way of seeing this and be more engaging?
I think that it was all of those things. It was having great mentors in my life. Okay. One thing I've noticed, man, I've always had great mentors in phases and stages. Yeah. They come into my life, and it's not always just an elder. Right. It's somebody that's teaching me something. It could be a peer. Okay. And I've learned from the discernment to know when I'm being really taught a lesson and I'm learning something, and I'm constantly in search of the knowledge. Mm-hmm. So it was a kind of accumulation of all of that. It was having experiences, traveling the world. If you're a prayerful person, right? If you pray a lot, you say, God, I want this to happen. Right. I want this. Right. And if it doesn't come in the way, in the form that you think that it's supposed to come in, you don't understand that your prayer is being answered. Right. And I found myself in a room one time where I wanted to meet a distributor of a liquor, and when I was living in France. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that I had been in the room with this one guy whose best friend is the one who is the master blender for Ciroc. Mm-hmm. I'm always with this guy in Paris, and I didn't realize it. And then one day, I'm just sitting there, and we're at the bar of this hotel. I'm about to do a photo shoot, and he came. He's a big fan. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let me taste this new Ciroc, one of the Cirocs that Puff got. I was like, let me see what Puff doing now. And he was like, why do you keep saying Puff made that? And I was like, huh? He just happened to be in the room. He was like, yeah. And I'm like, I've been around this guy for 4 months. Right. Did not even know. And I just say that to say, I thought about how many times I've been around people and didn't say anything, didn't engage them in conversation. So my point is, sometimes you can be praying for things. Mm-hmm. There's this story of this elderly lady who prayed. She went to church every day, God, and it was a big rain and a flood, and she prayed to God. You might have heard the story, and came up to the first floor. She moved up to the second floor, and a piece of wood floated by her window, and she's like, God, save me. Yeah. And then a man came in a boat, and she was like, no, I'm waiting on God. Waiting on God. And then she finally drowned. Fast forward, she drowned and went to heaven and said, God, I thought you were going to save me. He said, well, I sent you this boat. Right. I sent you the piece of wood. I sent you you turned all of it down. Right. And that's my point with being in the room sometimes. You don't know who you in the room with. So you need to go see who is that life, that thing that you prayed for is in the room. Yeah. You need to have these conversations with people who are in your area, because maybe they spark something that you didn't even realize you can do or had access to. Man. There's truly 6 degrees of separation in everything and everybody, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yo, man, I want to thank you, man. I think we're going to close it here, but I want to thank you. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we...
I just want to say, everybody, make sure this weekend, Sunday, Black Girls Rock, MTV, the VMAs, Monday. But even in between all of that, the brunch, the dinner, the watch party. There are things to do in the city of Newark, New Jersey. You just got to get out and grasp it. Ask some questions. Talk to people. Engage. Find out. Look up Newark. Just Google Newark. Things happening in Newark. Go onto websites. Go to the library website.
Right.
You know, just find out. There's so many different things, man. And in those places, in those events, there's so many extremely good people, man, with a plethora of knowledge. You know, get out and get you some, for real. For
sure. And make sure you at NJPAC. Make sure you're there August 29th to see Laws of the Underground bust down the stage. Yeah. My man.
Salute, King.
Salute.
Oh, and I can't forget, follow my nonprofit organization, 211 Community Impact, man. We do a lot of things on the ground in the city, and that's 211 Community Impact. That's www.211communityimpact.com.